I know that the universe is not trying to tell me that I shouldn't purchase a Juicy Tube. That cannot possibly be the message that I'm supposed to take out of this situation right now. This is your daily reminder that there is no limit to how much you can spoil yourself or how much you can treat yourself, all right? I'm gonna try this Sakura tea latte. Oh my god, I think I got the wrong drink. No, curses. Okay, see, things like this, weird things like this have been thwarting me left and right this whole week, and I kind of want to talk about it. Well, no, I don't want to go over every single little incident because they're very small and random, but just the overall trend of like me getting thwarted. Like, for example, okay, so I went into the office on Wednesday because I had a meeting to attend in person. Whenever I go to the office, I have to go through Shinjuku Station, and then my office is in Ginza. So I transfer at Shinjuku Station. That day, I told myself, I'm gonna take myself to the Lancome counter at the department store in Shinjuku Station where I transfer, because it's like right next to, the train line that I have to get on to come back to my house in Chofu. So I took myself to the Lancome counter. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to buy myself one Juicy Tube, right? Because I'm out already. I have to go to the office today, so why don't I treat myself on the way home, get 2 things done at once today. So then I went, and tell me why 3 out of the 5 available Juicy Tube colors are sold out at that particular counter. I'm like, wait a minute, you mean the standard ass Juicy Tubes that have been around for 20 something years? I don't even know when Juicy Tube as a product was conceived, but I feel like it must have been well over 20 years by now. I'm like, what do you mean 3 of the 5 standard regular colors? This is not a new release. It's not a limited edition special gloss, special color. But yeah, the sales lady was like, oh, I'm so sorry. These are super popular. We should be getting new stock in this weekend. Like, I could put you down for a reservation if you want to. And then, I felt bad because I was contemplating for a second. I was like, maybe I should put in a reservation because I wouldn't mind, she was nice to me. So I was like, I wouldn't mind helping her get some commission off of that. And plus, I'm probably going to have to go into the office again at some point next week for another meeting, right? Ultimately, I was like, no, thank you. Because I wanted to just go home and order it online. Because I know for a fact that it's not out of stock in most stores or outlets. But for whatever reason, the department store that I happen to pass through all the time whenever I commute to work was out of most of their Juicy Tube stock. So then I was like, okay, that's weird because I know that the universe is not trying to tell me that I shouldn't purchase a Juicy Tube. That cannot possibly be the message that I'm supposed to take out of this situation right now. So that was definitely a fluke, but things like that just kept happening all week. Up until even just today, a few hours ago when I was out for my walk. It's 3 a.m. now, and I just got back from my walk, and I'm enjoying a drink. And I got the wrong drink, okay? Because I wanted to there's a similar drink in 7-Eleven right now that is by Detour, the coffee shop. But it's a packaged, ready-made drink made for the convenience stores. And I wanted that one. But I thought that this one was also Detour, but this one that one was just a Sakura latte. This one is Sakura tea latte. So I wanted the tea latte, but come to find out this is not even Detour branded. It's just the 7-Eleven brand, which does have some bangers. I'll give them props for that, but yeah, it's just not the flavor that I was after. I was after the Detour flavor, Anyway, so back to the title or the theme of today's video. This is your daily reminder that you can never pamper or spoil yourself too much. You can never give yourself too much self-care, okay? Obviously, there are things that you can overdo. For example, if you really enjoy eating sweets or eating cake, I'm not saying eat cake until you throw up or something, because by the point that if you get to the point where you've eaten so much cake that you've thrown up, then at that point, it ceases to be of use to you, right? So it ceases to be part of the pampering. But I'm saying that up until that point, though, why not continue to pamper yourself? Why not continue to give yourself the best experience? There's no such thing as giving yourself too much self-care or too much kind treatment. Tender loving care, TLC, as we used to say back in the day. Just because you've been brainwashed for your whole life and indoctrinated into this belief system that you have to work yourself to the bone and bleed yourself dry in order to earn any type of treat or just, self-care, good treatment for yourself. I'm telling you that that's bullshit, okay? There is no such thing as an upper limit to how much you can pour into yourself. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? No, there's no limit. Even if, yes, there is a point usually that you can reach with any good thing. The poison is in the dosage. That's not exactly what I was thinking of, but that also applies to this situation. Okay, so there is quote unquote too much of a good thing. You've heard that saying before, right? Too much of a good thing is not actually good or beneficial to you. So everyone has that point to which, like, for example, if you love going to Disneyland, you're probably going to get sick of it at some point if you keep going every single day, right? Actually, there is a real world analogy that I can make my own life with regards to that example. You can just replace the word Disneyland with Japan, right? As much as I love Japan and it was my dream to live here ever since I was 13, 14 years old, try living here every single day though, which is what I've been doing for the past 14 years.
Try being an influencer for a day. Try it.
Living here every single day for the past 14 years is different than being here for like 2 weeks or 4 weeks. So whatever that sweet spot is for you, it could be a few years too, right? And this is just like one example I'm talking about if you like to go somewhere, but you can apply it to any type of self-care, any way that you treat yourself or spoil yourself. So shopping, for example, right? I'm sure for most of us, our appetite for shopping probably far exceeds the actual funds or the actual budget that we have on hand in terms of like what's in our bank account right now. Or I don't know, I don't want to speak for you. Maybe you're a millionaire or you've inherited a lot of money or you're a trust fund baby or whatever. If you're in the position to shop endlessly or to shop to your heart's content, do that, right? But if you are not in the position to shop endlessly without repercussions in the form of a high credit card bill that you would have to worry about paying off later, that doesn't mean you need to give up the activity entirely, right? You can still do it, but just only up to the point to where you can handle it financially. Because obviously, if you go past the point that you can handle it financially, even though the actual, oh my God, Maxine, okay, even though your shopping addiction itself might be getting fueled or whetted, is that the correct word? Satisfied from an isolation perspective. Sorry, I can't concentrate. Maxine is like scratching my cupboards. But what I'm trying to say is that, okay, in an ideal world, right? If you are a shopaholic like me, maybe I shouldn't use the term addiction or shopaholism, but if you love shopping, if you're a material girl, first of all, there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that you're bad. It doesn't mean that you're shallow. If that's what you truly enjoy doing, then it's fine. You know, you don't have to like feel guilty about it. That's step one. But then step two is that you can indulge in it up until the point where you personally can handle it financially, or your sugar daddy or whoever. But let's just say you, right? You have a certain amount of disposable income that you can allocate to shopping. And so I'm telling you, just don't feel bad about it. Okay, take away the guilt and like do whatever you need to do to make yourself happy. But the only thing is that, of course, keep in mind that whenever you do something past the point of either your actual needs being met, your actual satisfaction being met, or if it's past the point of your physical capacity to do that thing. So in the shopping example, it would be the actual amount of money that you have in your bank account. If it's either of those two scenarios, then obviously at that point it would become detrimental to you, right? So that would not be classified as self-care anymore in my definition. But what I'm saying is that as long as it still falls within the definition of self-care, you should do it up until the very tippity top upper limit, if that makes sense. And some of you kind of have to go out on a limb and discover your limit, because I have a feeling that a lot of you probably have no idea even where your upper limit is when it comes to luxury. By upper limit, I'm talking about, you know, that tipping point where you no longer are able to extract as much value or as much satisfaction out of that activity as you were able to in the beginning. So it's kind of like a Pareto distribution, as with many things in nature. But yeah, some of you need to go through the process to where you just pour into yourself. You need to like radically love on yourself and spoil yourself to the point where you actually can figure out what your limit, so to speak, is. Because some of you are playing so small, and that's because you're brainwashed since birth by this society to think that you need to earn every single thing that is afforded to you in this life. It's not that you have to earn everything, it's just that you have to be grateful for what you do have, however little or small it is. But being grateful for what you currently have does not directly contradict to wanting more and more for yourself. That's my PSA for today. With that being said, I'm kind of in a dilemma right now, and I need your opinion on what I should do this weekend. I'm about to grab this child. Okay, you know what? Clearly she wants to say hi, so I'm gonna bring her over here. Clearly. You just want to be part of the conversation, huh, Maxine? Watch, she's gonna start screaming now because she is a contrarian. on, Maxine? Are you having fun? No, she's gonna start like complaining at some point. See? See? You have to pay your cuddle tax. Okay. Say bye, Maxine. Don't be such a grump. I'm so grumpy. You know, I think she just doesn't really like to be held. There's like very, very specific times that she's open to being held. Either right after she wakes up or when she's like very sleepy and ready to go to sleep or ready to rest for a long time. Those are the times when she's like okay with being picked up, or I don't know if it's she's okay with it or she just like doesn't have the energy to protest. But yeah, when she's like fired up in her zoomy mode, she really doesn't like to be picked up. But then it's like she'll, you know, scratch and do all this stuff to get my attention. So I pick her up and I put her in air jail, but then she'll start screaming like a banshee. And then so I put her down, but then she follows me still wherever I go. And like I can't do anything. I can't brush my teeth. I can't live stream. I can't go to the bathroom without her following me. But then when I pick her up, she'll start screaming again. And it's just this vicious cycle that we're caught in. But I love every second of it though, because see, I realized the other day, actually having a cat has always been my dream ever since I was a little girl. I don't know what the statistics are on this, but growing up, I always had the impression that Asian American immigrants in particular, like Asian American households, tended to not keep pets. I could be wrong. It could have just been that, you know, my parents or my household was never really into pets, or just never, it really never occurred to my parents or my mom in particular to keep a pet. Whenever I would express the desire for one, even just like a cat, she would be like, no, that's way too much work. And then like from her perspective, I totally understand it, because her and my dad pretty much commuted to New York City every day back in the day when I was going to middle school and high school. So even just commuting to New York City, like if you add up the commute time on top of the full day that they worked, they had to leave early and come back quite late. So I can understand why they wouldn't want the extra stress of having to take care of another animal in the house, aside from the one animal that they already had, which was me. But yeah, so I think like from just my childhood experience and also going over to my friends' houses as well, I don't remember that many pets. So I always just assumed that Asian parents, or at least Asian immigrant parents, are just not really into keeping pets, and not necessarily because they don't like animals or anything like that, but just because the overwhelming life admin of being an immigrant in a country that's not your home country was like too overwhelming for them to even conceive of the idea that they would be able to have enough time and energy left over to take care of a pet. So that's why like I've always wanted to have one, right? Ever since I was a little girl. And I could never really entertain the idea either, because the ironic part is that once I got through university and everything, I also learned firsthand, the same way that my parents did, how much of your energy and time is just monopolized by your job and other life admin things. And also like the fact that in Tokyo as well, it's a little bit of a hassle to try and find a pet-friendly apartment. There's definitely like a lot of options. I think it's not like it's impossible or anything, but it's a little more difficult, right? And they are a little more stringent with the requirements for their tenants as well. I actually got kicked out of my last apartment because I had Maxine and Eugene when I was there, but that's another story. I regret nothing. Okay. Sorry for saving a life. Not. Sorry for breaking your arbitrary rules to save a life. I wasn't on bad terms with my last landlady either. I felt like, okay, she has a right to kick me out, obviously, which she did, but then she wasn't really like upset about it. So I guess I kind of appreciate that. And then they said that like, oh, you're going to have to pay for like damages that, you know, the cats made in the room, which there was no damages, but it was a non-pet friendly apartment to begin with. So maybe, I don't know, because like Maxine was just a kitten back then, right? So she would pee all over the floor all the time. And like maybe there was some damage with regards to that. I have no idea. But then the thing is that bill never came. So I like to think that was just, you know, my last landlady being kind and not really giving a shit at the end of the day. But technically I did break the terms of the contract by bringing pets in to an apartment that explicitly did not allow them. So that was all fair and square as far as I'm concerned. And it was very serendipitous, actually. I think it was meant to be, because I didn't struggle to find another apartment. I actually found this one pretty immediately after they told me that I had to move out of my last one. Anyway, how did we get on this story? That's the thing about live streaming. Like, you never know where the stream of consciousness is going to take you. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. it was always my dream to have a pet of my own. Okay, just to have a little cat that I could take care of and snuggle. And I realized that I am living my dream every single day, just having Maxine over there, regardless of how much of a sassy brat with peak attitude that she's being, regardless of how exasperating it is sometimes. I am living my dream, okay? Because not only do I have a cat, I work from home 90% of the time. So I can be with my cat, like literally, and take care of her as if she was my own actual child, which she is, because I gave birth to her. But yeah, like, and so I realized that that's also, instead of, you know, being exasperated with her all the time, because let me tell you, she is a piece of work, okay? The part that really confounds me sometimes is just the like how nocturnal she is. And maybe I'm not helping either, because I've adapted this kind of weird sleep pattern where I sleep from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. and then go outside to walk for a couple of hours and then come back, and I don't really sleep again until 4 or 5 a.m. Yeah, during that time, Maxine is like super awake. She's not just awake, she has super high energy, and she's like super restless. Probably wants me to play with her, but that's exactly the time that my body is winding down and wants to enter deep sleep. But even through all of that though, it's still a blessed situation to be in, you see. Maxine is part of my self-care and my self-pampering as well, because it's always been a wish list item of mine, or like it's always been an integral part of the life that I imagined for myself as a child, to have a pet with me, to have my own little furry baby. But yeah, all of that being said, so this weekend is a 3-day weekend. Today's Friday. Well, no, it's Saturday because it's 3:30 a.m. already. But I am in a conundrum because I just received, on Wednesday night, I received a text from that event planning agency that hired me to be the help or like do the reception work at that Dubai real estate conference back in November of last year. Do you guys remember? I told you that I would do a live stream about it, and then more and more time just kept passing by. I just never was able to find the time to do it. And also, to be honest with you, I didn't really enjoy the experience. So I was hired by an event planning agency to be an extra pair of helping hands, essentially, right? That includes like reception work and, you know, collecting all the clients' data as much as possible, and like making sure that their food and their drinks were refilled and whatnot. Although that last part I actually didn't have to do. There were already hotel staff allotted to do the food serving aspect of it once I got there. So yeah, it was just a helping hands sort of situation, and I got paid 20,000 yen per day. It was kind of like easy money, right? Because it's not hard work. You don't really need to have a special skill set to do it. But yeah, it's like 2 full days, and then as long as you show up and do the bare minimum, you can get 40,000 yen. So it's kind of like easy money. But the reason I didn't do a live about that is because the real estate agency that was there, so there were sorry, I'm like jumping all over the place. So I was hired as a helping hand, and then there were 2 real estate agencies that basically teamed up to throw this event and other similar events in Tokyo. So one of them is like a Japanese brokerage firm headquartered in Dubai or the UAE, but they have a Japanese branch. So that is the real estate company. We'll just call it JA for Japan, right? And then the agents from that company are the ones that are like throwing this event. They are the ones that, you know, the clients maybe took an appointment with them for an hour or whatever to consult what they should do with regards to their real estate portfolio in Dubai, or if they wanted to, you know, discuss like their interest in buying Dubai properties, or hear from the experts, right, about the state of the real estate economy in Dubai. Sorry, my brain is so fried, you guys. Please bear with me. So those are Japanese people, and I think for the most part, they live in Dubai as far as their main residence, but they come to Tokyo a lot for these conferences and whatnot. And also, I guess aside from these conferences, there are other trips that they would have to make to meet with their Japanese clients, but their home base is in Dubai. They're Japanese nationals though. You're following me? So that company, like most of the people, were pretty arrogant, and I did not enjoy at all working with them. Like, I didn't want to make a live and just have most of it be kind of skewing in a negative direction, because that was basically just the vibes that the other people there gave me, and I didn't want to stew in the negativity. But yeah, it was Company J, and then there was another girl. So this girl was the worst, honestly. There was another girl who was also Japanese national, and like same deal, she lived in Dubai most of the time, but she will come like at least once or twice a month to Japan on business trips. She is like Japan sales manager. That's what she said. But like I looked at her LinkedIn later and it says that she's the relationship manager. So I'm like, okay, those are two different roles. But anyway, at the time that I first met them back in November, she said that she was the sales manager. So she worked for one of the big developers in Dubai, which I won't say the name, but if you go there, you'll see this realtor's name plastered across so many of the skyscrapers and whatnot. So the local Japanese, a lot of the local Japanese buyers, or the people here that are interested in buying real estate in Dubai, they prefer to go through the local Japanese firm to do business, right? Because like it's native Japanese people that are able to assist them. Like they feel more comfortable working with a Japanese firm. And then that girl who's also Japanese, but she works for one of the biggest real estate developers in Dubai. So she kind of acts like a bridge between the Japanese firm and the developer in Dubai, which is the one that's actually building a lot of these huge projects that they're trying to sell to investors here. Anyway, she was like such a bitch to me. It was kind of comical to me too, because everyone there was actually younger than me, but you could tell that they thought I was younger than them. I guess we're going into a story time now. I feel like I have to give the whole context, for you to really understand, or else there's like no point in telling the story. So yeah, I did not like the vibes of the people from Company J, but at least they were cordial to me. You know what I mean? 3 of them were really, really arrogant, like asshole types. You could tell they thought they were on Wolf of Wall Street or something. But there was a girl that was like okay, and she was a year older than me, so she was the only one that was near my age range, because I'm like 36, right? So she was 37. None of these people I would choose to be friends with in real life, of course, but at least that girl, I felt like she was straight. Like she was chill, and she wasn't particularly overly friendly. Every time I would try to ask something about or try to confirm what I should do with regards to the tasks that I was in charge of, they would totally brush me off and be like, oh, well, that's like not our jurisdiction. You should ask whoever, like whatever company that sent you here, right? Which, I can understand. Obviously, they don't want to take responsibility for me, and that's not their job either. They are there to meet with their clients. But like, yeah, I didn't like the attitude that most of them had about it, but at least that girl was like cordial to me. She wasn't like super nasty to me the way that the girl from the Dubai real estate developer was. So we'll call that one Company D, right? And then we'll call that girl Miss Piggy, the really bitchy one, because that's what she looked like. She always had a sour expression on. You could tell that she thought her shit don't stink. The funny thing to me is that girl was like 27, which I was shocked to find out. I only knew that because like I overheard a discussion that she was having with some people from Company J when there was like no clients in the room. So I think it was around lunchtime, and they were just kind of like chilling for a bit before they all went out on lunch break. And she was just kind of venting to one of the members of Company J about how like one of the customers complained that he didn't want to work with her, when she was trying to explain to him about the merits of investing in Dubai and trying to advise him on what areas or what properties he should consider. She said that he complained that he didn't want to talk with someone so inexperienced, right? And he was like, yeah, I don't want like a woman that's still in her 20s that doesn't have enough experience yet to be advising me on my real estate goals, which is like an asshole thing to say, right? So according to her, this is what the client was saying, and she was kind of venting about that. But I remember being shocked to hear that, the realization that she was actually in her 20s, because like she was giving off all of 40 something. What is with everyone these days? Am I just being diabolical? Am I just being the villain here? Because I feel like I assume that everyone is 40 a lot more often these days than I used to. And then they turn out to be like 28. And I'm like, oh, wait, what? I don't know. Maybe it's more to do with the outfits and stuff. Because, real estate, they dress a little bit more business cunty, we'll say, which makes sense because they want to present like a sharp image to their clients. But God, she just had such a stick up her ass, this little Miss Piggy girl. You know what? Do I have a photo? Because I really don't. I don't even care. It was just ironic to me. Like, I was kind of just like, are you serious? Because I'm like 10 years older than this girl, but you could tell that she thought I was in my early 20s. They all thought I was in my early 20s, right? And then even the other girl that I was talking to from Company J, the one that was kind of okay terms with, she, like, it turns out that she actually went to undergrad in US. So we had a moment where we were just conversating and making small talk because it was kind of a slow time. There wasn't a lot of clients and she didn't have any clients. I don't remember what the trigger was, but at one point she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I assumed that you were like 25 or something. I didn't know that we were pretty much practically the same age. And then like this other guy too from Company J. So there was three guys, two of them completely arrogant and insufferable. I did not like them at all. The third guy was also had a very imposing presence. I don't want to say aggressive because that's too cliche of a term, but for lack of a better term, he was very aggressive. Again, if I met him out in the wild, we would probably not become friends organically, but at least this third guy, I felt like I could deal with him because even though he was like aggressive and he had certain ways, I could tell that was more of just like a symptom of his profession as a realtor, right? He has to kind of be aggressive, and maybe that's just also his personality, but he never tried to haze me or turn his insecurity or whatever onto me. Like, even though there were times where, like, I'll admit, I came off as pretty incompetent during certain times. I mean, in large part because nobody gave me any directions. So I don't feel bad about that, but yeah, like, I can see how from their perspective, I might have been a little bit useless at times. But again, I was very cooperative and trying to make myself useful. But if you don't give me any directions and then you get mad at me for not reading your mind or something, that's on you, right? Because if you just told me what to do, then I'll do it. But since like none of them wanted to step up and take any type of responsibility, helping to integrate me into this whole event that they had planned, then that's not my problem. Then I'm just going to do my own thing and like chat up the hotel workers and take pictures of people's business cards from my own database and whatnot. But yeah, the third guy was okay because he never tried to bully me or make it a point to assert his power over me. It was just like that was his personality. He was a little bit more abrasive, but it was never directed towards me. So I didn't have a problem with the third guy. I lost my train of thought. I don't know if this story has a point. I'm just saying. So I'm considering whether or not I want to say yes to this new gig that the event planning company contacted me about that's happening on March 21st and 22nd because it's a 3-day weekend, right? So they're having a Saturday and Sunday real estate show. And like this time it's not Company J. It's the same kind of brokerage company in Japan. Like they have the headquarters are in Dubai and they have a branch, or they have people, Japanese employees that work for them that are from Japan, but they are based in Dubai. But it's not Company J. It's a completely different company. So we'll call it Company A. So I actually looked up the people that are from Company A. I stalk everyone once I find out their names, especially if it's a new gig, a new situation that I'm walking into cold or blind. I like to gather as much information as I can beforehand, okay, for strategy purposes. I think it's only the smart thing to do, especially this day and age when we have LinkedIn and all these public platforms available to look people up. Why not? You never know what you could come across, what information could be helpful to you. So I looked up the people from this Company A. So I looked up one girl and one guy, and then the guy was actually not Japanese. So the guy is, I think, like not Emirati, but he was born and raised in Dubai. One of those, like either Indian or Pakistani, one of the South Asian countries, but like a total, local resident of Dubai. He grew up there, was born and raised there. And then the girl was just like another national Japanese citizen, but she is obviously multilingual and she lives in Dubai. So I actually found the girl's TikTok account, and she, I think she had around 3,000, 4,000 followers. And I could see that like she was kind of trying to do content creation maybe on the side. And she had one post up about a day in my life as a real estate agent, or I don't remember the exact name, but it was like a day in my life as an international real estate agent, something like that. And so I watched that video, right? To me, I was like, okay, she seems more of at least just like a normal person. I actually felt kind of sad for her because she was talking about how she was like really burnt out, and she was going to fly to Tokyo soon to participate in this real estate conference, which is the one that, I was contacted about, the one that's happening this weekend. So I think she probably just arrived in Tokyo as we're speaking now. And like, I'm sorry, it sounds like I'm being a stalker, but no, I'm just trying to gather information for myself and make an informed decision on whether or not I want to attend this time. And there's also the incentive of the 40,000 yen, right? Which is not a lot of money, but it's still 40,000 yen is not nothing. I don't know, but let me know what you think, okay, after I go through this entire spiel. So yeah, I watched her little vlog. She said that she was 27. Again, these people are so young. I feel like I'm entering the phase of my life where it's kind of like a new territory for me, because when I was young and people would, try to push me around or like test my boundaries, at least like in a way that was to be expected, right? Because people like to, push you around, especially if you seem weaker or like you don't know what you're doing, or you're a little bit more innocent, you're a little greener and wet behind the ears. A lot of people out here, especially in the corporate world or whatever industry, really, they have kind of like a predatory instinct to where, like, at best, they'll have good intentions and they'll try to give you tough love because in their minds, they're doing you a favor by like traumatizing you first before an actual evil person gets to you, right? So that you can get with the program quicker. But then there's the other type that you might run into that is actually just malicious, or they feel threatened by you in whatever way. They don't actually care about your well-being, and they would honestly like to see you just eliminated. So at least when I was actually in my 20s or my early 20s, it was to be expected, right? Because I'm young and I don't have experience. And so, of course, people are going to think it's okay to treat me like I'm dumb or whatever, which it's not. It's never okay, no matter a person's age or ethnicity or anything. I would never, I take pride in the fact that I don't treat people like that. I have maybe been known to express a little bit of my exasperation with younger people on this channel before, but it never comes from a place of maliciousness. The worst that I'll say is that sometimes 20-something-year-olds, they just make me roll my eyes. The only thing that I'll do is that I won't interact with them, like I won't go to events that I know are going to be made up of primarily 20-something-year-olds or a younger crowd, because like if I know that it's not something I can get value out of, I just won't go to it, right? It's not like I'm looking down at them or anything. It's just at this point in my life, there's nothing that crowd can really do for me, right?
I just don't think at this age I'm meant to live an uncomfortable life.
But anyway, not to make this about age, but like I said, it's kind of like new territory for me, though, to be actually in my 30s. And I'm going to be in my late 30s soon, right? Well, let's slow down. But I'm going to turn 37 this August. And like people still think I'm in my 20s, which I am thankful for. But then it's like that is pleasant when it's much older people talking to you, right? Like if I'm talking to leaders of industry or people who are more seniors in their industry and they happen to be like, if they're in their 40s, 50s and up, and they think I'm 25, it doesn't come at a cost to me really, because it's only, in those cases, it's only kind of like a positive reflection on how they see me. They're like, oh, you seem so young, like your spirit is so young, and your skin is so nice, blah, blah, blah. I thought you were literally 25. And like they leave it at that, right? It's purely complimentary. But I notice, and like I'm so, again, I don't know if it's just the age thing or it's the fact that real estate, I guess, is a cutthroat industry. I don't know what it is, maybe a combination of different factors, but I have found that there are a handful of instances where I come across like 20-something-year-olds and then they don't know upon first meeting me that I'm like old enough to be, I was going to say their teen mom, but no, I'm not that much older than them. But like they don't know that I'm literally like 10 plus years older than them. The last thing I ever expect is for someone that much younger than me to feel threatened by me, right? Because I'm like, in their minds, I would imagine that they obviously think they have the upper hand because they're the ones that are young. They're the ones that have like the most energy, the most time and opportunities that are limitless unfolding in front of them. Like I'm in a stage of my life where, yes, I still have all those things as well, but I need to move way more strategically as a 30-something-year-old than a 20-something-year-old, right? So it always like perplexes me when I'm bump into younger people. And it's not even like gender specific, right? Because I told you the people at Company J, it was like 3 guys and a girl. Or no, 2 girls. And then that other girl from Company D, who was a total bitch to me. I don't know what it was. I don't think she's a good person. I think she's okay. I can understand, to be 28 and to already have the title of like Japan relationship manager or sales manager for one of the hugest real estate development firms in Dubai, and to be like a pioneer in this field, because this industry, selling Dubai real estate to Japan-based investors, is very, very niche, right? It's basically only this very small subset of people. There's only like a handful of Japanese brokerage companies that do that, and even less actual agents that specialize in it, right? And I don't know exactly, I could not tell you how much each of them individually are making, but I imagine they're making a killing. I imagine they're doing well, and especially by the looks of, their social media, and even just like a lot of them were bringing in designer briefcases and purses and stuff the last time in November when I went to the first event. So I was like, okay, I can understand you might be feeling yourself a little bit. You might even be a little bit arrogant about it, but like, why do you have to project that onto other people though? That was my thing. So I didn't enjoy the people at the last real estate event, and I couldn't find any information on whether that same girl from Company D was coming to the one this weekend, which is going to be taking place in hotel. And like, I have a sinking feeling that it's got to be her, right? She's got to be the one that's going to come, because I think she's the only like Japanese liaison that they have well, she's not the only one, but she's like, her title is relationship manager. So I think that that's the bulk of her job, is that she oversees like these events that they throw in Tokyo. She's part of Company D, which means that Company D links up with a lot of the local Japanese brokerage branches, including the Company J and Company A, which is throwing the event this weekend. So like, if only I could confirm whether or not Miss Piggy was going to be there this weekend, then I would be able to make a decision faster, because like I really don't want to deal with this girl again. Not that I have to deal with her, like obviously I can just ignore her, but this is another thing that I realized, which ties into the theme of this video, because I was like, at first I was really trying to pump myself up, like, okay, you're not intimidated by these bitches. If she tries to be shady or bitchy or act like a mean girl towards you, come on, this is like, she's 10 years younger than you. You can just ignore it and be above it. And it's like, yes, I can. Absolutely, 100%. However, when you are actually dealing with these people in person, though, the reality is that they do emit a very nasty energy. And no matter how like evolved and above it you are, especially if you're someone like me that, okay, I don't want to be like, I'm an empath, but I feel like I'm very sensitive to energies, right? Like I absorb other people's energies really easily. And like, that's a part of the reason why I had to implement such a strict program when it came to like protecting my own mental health and setting my own boundaries and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I've built up the mental fortitude over the past few years to remain unbothered and above it in situations like this, where I come head to head with unpleasant individuals. But I realized the other day, I was like, okay, but just because I could do that, I still don't have to prove necessarily that I can be unbothered in this situation, right? Like if your interaction with her the last time was so unpleasant to the point where you're like overthinking and not able to make a clear decision on whether or not you want to attend this weekend's conference, then maybe you should just not go to protect your peace of mind, right? It doesn't mean if I choose not to go just because I don't like or gel with this person, I don't think that that should be an indictment on me. Like I shouldn't use that to judge myself that, oh, you should be above it, like you should be able to handle it, you should be able to shade her back. And it's like, but I don't want to shade her back though. Like I don't want to have to deal with, ignoring it or like smiling at her when she would look me up and down. Cause like that's what she did last time. She would do that thing where she like looked me up and down and I'm like, what? I actually don't care. The thing is, I actually don't care. Like I showed up in my Shein outfit. I still look better than you. Is that it? Is that why you're mad? I'm trying to find her picture. Cause like, I don't care about doxing this bitch. No, don't find her and like get me in trouble. But, oh, I think I deleted. Okay, wait, I transferred the pictures from that day onto my computer. Let me see if I can find it. I keep receipts, you guys. Okay. If there's one thing I learned from the beauty pageant fiasco, it's that you need to keep receipts at all times. So yeah, that's my dilemma right now. I'm like, should I just go? Because honestly, the incentive for me to actually go this time, even with the high risk probability that Miss Piggy from Company D is going to be there, is that I do get good vibes from the agents that I saw so far on their promotional material. I do get good vibes from the Company A agents, way more so than I did from the Company J agents. So I kind of do want to go meet them. Like, especially, the female agent, the one where I looked at her TikTok where she detailed her situation right now with working for like a global real estate firm. I felt like, okay, I don't want to let Miss Piggy deter me from making a great connection with these new people if I have the opportunity. And plus, obviously, I would like to have an extra 40,000 yen for doing a minimal amount of work. But the thing is, like, even though the work itself is not complicated or anything, these are full day events. And so basically I would be giving up my entire weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And it's like pretty grueling because it's from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. I get to sit and everything, and there's free food. It's in a fancy hotel, so there's going to be free catering and whatnot. But it is like a pretty exhausting ordeal in general. Like I'm not used to service jobs. I'm a work from home, spoiled IT back-end employee. So I'm not used to like being on for like 8+ hours. And that's the thing too. If you add up the amount of time, they said that I have to be there from 9 to 8 p.m. like officially on the contract. But I remember last time I always left at 7 p.m. and the other people from the other companies would tell me that like, you can go home, you should go home now at 7 p.m. But even still, that's like what? That's like 10 hours, right? And then -1 for lunch break. So that's 9 hours, which is technically illegal. Okay. Because you're not supposed to work for more than 8 hours in a day. But anyway. Oh yeah, and then the other thing about this company, so the company that I'm going through, which is the event planning company, they pay immediately after the gig is done. And like I really like the girl that I communicate with as well. She's very nice. Like she was very quick and efficient with my payment last time. And then they have the option of paying to my PayPal account, which is also convenient for me. I think they tried a couple of times to transfer it to my bank account here in Japan, but it failed and bounced back. And I don't blame them because I think Japanese banks are anal, so it's probably not their fault. I think they followed the instructions. So I asked them, hey, can you just send it to my PayPal? And they were like, sure. And that's like very convenient for me too. But I'm like, okay, is it worth it though in the long run? Are there other ways that I can find or other gigs that I can find to pay me 40,000 yen and more? Yes, of course. There's always gigs and extra work and other things available. Or what if I went live like every day on YouTube, the way that Shira does? Maybe not every single day, okay, because I would literally die, but maybe 5 out of 7 days. What if I just kept going live and kept building up my membership here on YouTube? Then that alone would also, you know, like there's other ways of me making money that might not be as immediate or easy as this one, but it would be better for my mental health, right? But the thing is like, yeah, the thing that really grinds my gears, obviously I don't want this one unpleasant person to stop me. Because if it wasn't for her, if it was anyone else, I would be so happy to participate, like take part in and be a helping hand in as many of these events as possible. Because I am kind of interested in, you know, that whole world. I don't want to be a real estate agent, but I just feel like these people know something but then I don't know, like you'll have to help me pin this down mentally as well. Because I'm still figuring it out as I explain it. But I'm like, okay, am I really getting any tangible benefit out of this though? Because last time, right, you could say, you know, so my idea was that they are catering to a very niche, like high net worth subset of Japanese buyers here, or like, you know, people in Japan that are interested in expanding their portfolio to include foreign real estate. And so I was like, yeah, so that means like they're basically adjacent to these really high net worth circles, right? Like this kind of hidden wealth circle. But then come to find out, it's just like a bunch of 20-year-olds. Of course, you know, the people that are actually selling the houses, just because their clientele happens to be millionaires and billionaires, doesn't mean that they themselves are partaking in that lifestyle, right? We know this. But I still, like at the time in November, when I did the first event, I was like, okay, but you know, at the very least, I'll be able to observe and I'll be able to like, at the very least, interact with, you know, even if it's just on a very surface level, I'll be at the reception. Just by that alone, I have actually exchanged words and interactions with all of these high net worth individuals that came in to book a consultation session. And indeed, there was definitely a couple of millionaires in there. I think there was one billionaire with a B, one guy with a private jet, right? And I actually have all their contact info because I'm the one that took all of their business cards and whatnot at the reception. Actually, so the interesting thing is I work in luxury fashion as well for my day job, like my main job for a very famous European luxury fashion house. You know, I work in the IT department. In my main job as well, I also technically have a lot of access to quote unquote high net worth clientele. But then it's like, okay, even though I have all their information, it's like technically, yeah, I have everyone's phone numbers and emails. And like, I know I can put a face to the CEO of Microsoft or whoever. But what am I going to do with that information just all by myself, by my lonesome? I'm not going to like cold call or cold email these people, right? They're going to automatically categorize me as spam. That's not what I want. And it's not like I can access their private schedules or anything like that just because I know a little bit of their personal information, their phone number and their email. So what can I really do with their information if I don't have a third party that can actually like introduce me into the circle? You know what I mean? Or yeah, like if I don't have a vehicle, whether it be a person, a mutual acquaintance, or whether it be a company, whether it be I'm providing a service to these people, aside from those scenarios, there's not really any way that I can just like show up and say that I'm a part of their circle, right? They would never let me in. And I'm not saying that that's the ultimate goal either. It's not like I'm fighting for acceptance from these random people, but I'm just trying to expand my horizons here, right? I'm discovering that if you go looking, you can find all these different pockets of high net worth individuals or experts in a certain field that you would have never been aware of before if you didn't take it upon yourself to explore. So I don't know. I was left very like of two minds about this whole thing. On the one hand, it's closer proximity than I've ever had to billionaires or leaders in their industry in any of my past experiences. But on the other hand, it's not like I have a real in, right? Because I'm not the one that's selling real estate to them. And like I said, the company J was like really bitchy and gatekeepy. I feel like the real estate industry as a whole, everyone tends to gatekeep. Like I can see how it's very competitive, so you wouldn't want to share your trade secrets with others, especially like a newcomer. Maybe that's what some of them viewed me as, even though I don't want to go into real estate, right? But yeah, maybe they thought like, oh, who is this girl? Like, why is she randomly here? Is she trying to find a sugar daddy? The answer is yes. And that's none of your business. And what of it? You know, are you mad that you can't because you're a man or you're a pick me? You have a pick me mindset. That's not my problem. But, yeah, like they were very gatekeepy and just nasty. They were not friendly. Like they were not. I remember the first day around 6 p.m. after all of the customers that had pre-registered consultations, because we had quite a lot of walk-ins on the second day, but the first day it was mostly customers that had previously already set a time for their consultation with one of the agents. And so around 6 p.m. is when the customers stream kind of trickled down and there wasn't anyone new coming into the room anymore. And some of them, like the agents and that girl from company D, were talking about where they wanted to eat for dinner. So the girl who was around my age from company J, she was like, oh, okay, so Miss Piggy was the one like making the reservation. So she was like, oh, how many people do we have? Like 7, 8? And then the girl that was my age from company J that I was kind of, on good terms with, she was like, oh, but shouldn't we include Ren? So it would be 8, right? And then one of the guys, like the most arrogant of them, was like, no, that's not included in our budget. And I was like, yeah, like calm down. Okay. I'm not desperate to eat dinner with you guys. I'm not the kind of person that tries to get an invitation to a place. I don't go to places unless I'm invited. At this point, I have to be borderline the guest of honor before I go somewhere because it's just not worth it to me. But yeah, I was like, the way that he like yelled out, oh, we don't have enough budget for that. No, it's only for 7 people. Like, we're not including. I understand, of course. I didn't expect to be included in the dinner because I'm like not part of either real estate agency. I'm just the helping hand that was dispatched by the event planning company. But like, really? Did you have to say it like that? So like, I'm wondering, I don't know. I feel like I get a good vibe from the agents from company A that are throwing the event this weekend. And like, I wouldn't be surprised if they asked me or they included me in their dinner or at least their lunch, because they seem like better people, honestly, than company J. But then the thing is, it would be a gamble, right? Like I'm taking a chance because I won't find out until I get there on Saturday how the vibes are going to be. And if they turn out to be shitty again, then I'm not going to want to go through with the rest of the weekend. Like it's just going to put me in a really foul mood for the rest of the weekend. And the thing is, like, okay, I don't need this job, right? Because I have a full-time job that already pays my bills and everything. And like, yes, I'm trying to get outside gigs like this to speed up the process of paying off my bills and, saving for the things that I want. 40,000 yen is a third of a ticket to Dubai, or it's the whole ticket to anywhere in Southeast Asia, right? Like Thailand or wherever. I have so many countries that I want to visit. And the ones that are nearby, I can easily get, well, I don't know about now with the current situation in the world, but maybe we'll see how it pans out in the next couple of months. Like I can easily go to Thailand, Taiwan, anywhere for 40,000 yen. But at the end of the day, I don't need this for survival, right? Which I'm very thankful for. So I tell myself that, I almost quit in the November event. Like I almost just didn't go back the second day because I was so put off by how arrogant and unwelcoming everyone was. I didn't expect anyone to roll out the red carpet for me, but I wasn't quite expecting that level of arrogance, which also, honestly, every time I kind of venture out of my comfort zone with my current day job, my main job, like every time I try to either do a gig in a different industry or, interview for a new company, because like it's a reality. I can't stay at this salary level forever. If I want to speed things up in terms of my financial goals and therefore my financial freedom, aka my freedom in general, then I would have to increase my income, right? It's the most logical, straightforward way. So I've been interviewing here and there with other companies that are not necessarily in the same industry that I'm in right now. Like, for example, I interviewed for an IT, oh my God, I forgot what it was. It was just like an IT platform. I know that's very vague, but it was a platform, and then they have a lot of customers in the oil and energy business. Yeah, I interviewed with them and I was just so struck by how, this is going to sound bitchy, but I don't care because I speak my truth on this channel. I mean, Okay, so I interviewed with like the head of the department and then one of the project leads, which was the position that I was interviewing for. It was two women and they were nice, you know, they were cordial, but they were so masculine to me. Like none of them, they didn't have any makeup on. They looked very, yeah, I'm not going to say they looked bad. I mean, they looked, you know, clean and everything.
And you look so clean.
But it was just very like plain Jane. It was giving masculina. I'm so sorry. And yeah, they had like no makeup on. You can tell that it was giving like very typical, you know, IT nerdy girl, which is fine. It's fine if that's your jam. But like, that's not my jam, you know? And it just doesn't flow the conversation because you can tell their way of speaking. Again, I'm sorry for not being able to think of a better term, but it was just so masculine. And I'm so over that. Like, I've been over that for such a long time that it sounds foreign to me. Like the way that they were like, oh, okay, so can you describe like your KPIs? And I was just like, okay, whoa, slow down. First of all, you guys slid into my DMs. So you should be thanking me for taking this interview. But no, like jokes aside though, we just didn't mesh, right? They weren't rude or anything. They were actually quite nice. And, you know, we had a good conversation, but I just got the ick is the best way that I could put it. I was like, ew, I don't want to work here. Cause then their basic bitch, Bob the Builder aura is going to rub off on me if I work here. And I don't want to become like that, you know? Every time I interview with an outside company, I am reminded 10 times more of how lucky I am to be working in my current company. Cause I work for, you know, I can't say it on my public side of the channel, but I work for a luxury, like one of the top luxury European retailers. Any girl who's into fashion would love to work at this company. Everyone wants to be us, Andrea. Okay, don't be ridiculous.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants this.
I guess like I've gotten so used to the status quo at my current company that it's always kind of a shell shock when I venture out of my comfort zone and I realize that, oh yeah, these masculine 50-50 women who are still indoctrinated with this idea that they need to work as hard as a man to prove their worth and that they need to dress dowdy and frumpy to be taken seriously in the business world. It's always like a pretty unpleasant reminder. I don't know what my point is here, but I guess, yeah, like I take for granted how conducive my current company's environment actually is to me being able to nurture my femininity while still being a badass and, you know, doing a job that requires technical knowledge and all of those things. Like everyone that I work with at my company now is very knowledgeable and very competent, and we are dedicated to fixing the issue or whatever. It's not like when I say that we're more feminine, I'm not saying that, you know, we slack on work when there's an emergency or when more effort is needed. We don't overwork, but like if there is an urgent situation, everyone is going to be hands on deck. But it's always with this undertone of grace, you know? Like, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just biased because I love my job. But like, and also because we're in the fashion industry, everyone takes great care with their appearance. Everyone is always dolled up. They have like really nice makeup, really nice hair, really great fashion sense. The permanent employees get quite a hefty company discount for a lot of the items, which is so crazy because actually that reminds me too, when I first started telling people or whenever people found out that I work for this particular brand, some of them, I'm hearkening back to the pageant events, some of them would straight up ask me like, oh, so do you get a discount? Like, are you able to use your discount for other people? At the first meeting that we had with each other, which was really off-putting because I was like, oh, wow, okay, so you're not even going to pretend to try to become my friend first before you extend your hand and expect me to give you a handout. Like, first of all, I can't use my company employee discount on behalf of you because it's a very, very regulated thing. Like, they keep track of the, the serial numbers of the items that you buy if you're a company employee. Like it's a high fashion brand. Okay. We're not talking about like Zara or Uniqlo or something where you can just use, you know, you can just give your friends and family your employee discount code and then they order it and get 20% off online. No, these are like couture pieces that if you buy something with your company discount and then they realize that you never wear it, or I don't know, they see it floating around somewhere on a resale website, you're gonna suffer the consequences of that, right? Like, I don't know if that's grounds for firing. I don't think anyone at this company would risk it or would be willing to do anything to test the waters. But like, my point is that they keep track of what you buy as a company employee because it's a high fashion brand, you know? So they know exactly, like if they sell you a handbag and you're a company employee, they know exactly which one from which batch, etc., that they sold to you. And if that particular one shows up on a resale website or in one of the luxury brand resale stores, they're gonna look at you differently. It's a really, really bad look. no one in their right mind who's in our position or who works for this company would do that. That's like out of the question. So yeah, that's kind of tacky. Thank you, Erica. It's very tacky. Like, why would, and also like, why are you so thirsty? Okay. This is the thing, right? I've talked about this before as well, but you should never really have to ask for anything, okay? If you carry yourself with class and with grace, and if people can see, if you can show by just the way that you live and act, just the amount of decorum and tact that you have in social interactions, people are going to see that and automatically realize that, oh, this girl has a lot to bring to the table, or she has a lot of value to offer. And they're going to naturally want to help you or to give you a leg up in some areas, right? Like, that's how I've always operated. I feel like if you have to ask, you're already losing the plot at that point. You're asking for handouts, basically, and that's not a good look for anyone. That has nothing to do with your social economic status or how much money you have in your bank account. That's like a character indicator, you know? But yeah, back to the real estate thing though. What should I do, you guys? Because like, I'm trying to figure out, okay, the question that I need to answer is that like, what do I really hope to gain from continuing to participate in these real estate conferences? Besides just getting the quick, easy money, you know, which is an incentive for sure. But like I said, 40,000 yen, that's not the hugest deal ever. I could use my creativity and brainstorming powers to find a way to source that money from elsewhere. But like, aside from the money, what do I really hope to get out of this? Because I don't want to become a real estate agent. I don't want to go into real estate. Not because I don't like it, but because, okay, I'm very leery of real estate in general, because it actually it terrifies me, to be honest with you, because it's one of those professions that I feel like is so deceptive because it seems so freaking glamorous from the outside, right? And probably because we're only really seeing the super wealthy, super successful examples, you know, like the people that are on Selling Sunset that close like multi-million-dollar deals all the time. That's what you think of because of the influence of culture, pop culture. That's what I automatically think of when I think of real estate. But I know for a fact that obviously that's not the reality. That's not the lived experience for maybe 99% of real estate agents. And actually, I also know firsthand. So I don't want to put her business out there because she's my good friend, but like I know a girl in Dubai who switched from finance to real estate because she said that like that was her dream. She said she wanted that to make that her main career, right? And like she was struggling for well over a year, the first year that she changed careers from finance to real estate. Because when she was in finance, it was just a regular salary job. Like she would get paid every month. She had her own apartment. She was able to enjoy like quite a decent standard of living in Dubai, right? Which is no small feat. And she was only like 28 at the time I met her. So super proud of her. But once she switched to real estate, first of all, I think the firm that she worked for, they don't even give like a base salary. So it was 100% not permission based. It was 100% commission based. They say that on average, new real estate agents don't typically pick up any speed until about 8 months in, right? So basically her mom was supporting her for the first entire year of her foray into real estate in Dubai. And like, she was not able to even afford her own place after switching careers. Like she had a long stint where she stayed with a friend for free, which is great. That's one of the things I love about Dubai. There's so much community there, right? Like it's a struggle sometimes, but if you have a good network, especially the fact that 90% of people based there are expats. So everyone kind of has this mentality where we are all in it to help each other. Obviously, you have to be careful which circles you get into. But yeah, like if you approach people with good intentions, you will find a tribe of like-minded people that are as compassionate as you and like want to help you out. You guys will want to help each other out. So I love that about Dubai. But the fact that she went from like, you know, a good, I would say, middle-class lifestyle for a single girl in Dubai to not being able to afford her own place. She had to give up her car. One time when I met her, she was still kind of renting a car, but by that point she was living with her friend for free. But then at some point, I think her friend either moved out or either left Dubai or had to move to a different apartment. So she could no longer live there. And like now, I'm not sure now exactly, but the last time that I met up with her last year, she was living in one room in an apartment where they were leasing like the individual rooms to people. So she was paying, I think, 1,000 dirhams per month for just that one tiny room. It was so tiny to the point where like you can't move in it. You know, she has basically like her bed and then she can like turn around. It's like a closet. This is from her own mouth. So it is not this get rich quick fantasy like, oh, all I have to do is close this $1 million listing and then I'll get my, 2% kickback. And that alone is going to be 6 figures. So it doesn't even matter if I take like a year to do that. All I have to do is sell $1 million listing and then I'll be set, right? I'll get like my $100,000 or I don't know. I can't do math, but I feel like that's what people think naively when they romanticize real estate and they've never actually worked in the industry, and it's just not how it goes whatsoever. Like even these people, okay, these Japanese agents that are targeting or catering to high net worth Japanese clients that are interested in investing in Dubai real estate, even for them, I don't know for sure, right? There's no way I'll know for sure what type of lifestyle they're enjoying or what their average income is per month or like per year, even if they're making a lot of money, right? Which, okay, I think safely we can assume that they're making a lot of money. Definitely a lot more than the average like salaried Japanese worker here. Even with that though, I look at their lifestyle and the fact that their lives literally revolve around work. Like to me, it seemed like they were just glued to their computers 24/7. If they weren't talking with clients, they were finishing up paperwork on their computer. If they weren't doing that, then they were going out to a business dinner with each other, right? Like late into the night. And then they wake up at 6 a.m. to do it all over again. I don't want that lifestyle either. Honestly, I'll rather just marry rich and be done with it. That's me. I'm taking the easy way out. Although that way it turns out is not easy either, because it's hard to find someone that I can actually stomach, physically speaking, who has that amount of money. So, you're always going to pay somewhere. But yeah, I'm not willing to like live that lifestyle as a real estate agent. That would make me miserable to the point where what's the point of making all this money then? So I can be flashy on Instagram, but I'm like dead inside. I need my free time, okay? I need my beauty sleep, my downtime. I need time to do my press-ons, which you see 2 of them popped off because I was just so, in a frenzy this week. But I'm not about that life to where, like, I'm not satisfied just to be able to flex on Instagram. But yeah, I was like, God, what do I hope to accomplish by even participating in this kind of thing? Maybe it's FOMO. Maybe I feel like, okay, but if it's not me, some other girl's going to take my spot. Not that there's only one spot, but like I said, it's a very niche space, right? I don't know. Maybe it's an ego thing. Maybe I just feel like, well, obviously this opportunity should go to me. Like I should be the one to take up space here because I'm the one I have a unique background as well, right? Born and raised in America, Chinese American. I've lived in Japan for 13, 14 years. I've lost count. And like just recently in the past 3 years, I've also taken a huge interest in Dubai, if only recreationally, but still, if I want to continue, my love affair with Dubai, even if it's just going there for vacation a couple times a year, it can't hurt to build up my Rolodex. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't hurt to keep putting myself out there, especially at an event where I'm going to get paid anyway to be there. Why not? But the thorn in my side, Miss Piggy, I do not want to deal with this girl. I was gonna find her picture. Yeah, let me do that because I don't care. This girl needs to be exposed. Don't go find her though. I'm gonna private this video later. I'm gonna put it for members only. Oh, this is great. Okay, I have her little fake professional, her sucking up expression that she has when she's facing the clients. And then I also have one of her with that permanent sour expression that she was always directing towards me for some reason. I don't understand because I'm like, okay, so shouldn't you be like on top of the world? You're in your 20s, still attractive by, I guess, normal standards. I think that she has a permanent sour expression, but I'm sure because Asian girls in Dubai, they get a lot of attention. So you're attractive. I'm sure you have like guys blowing up your DMs. I'm sure you're making a ton of money, like more than anyone else in your peer group in Japan, especially, like as a young 20-something-year-old woman in Japan. I'm sure you're making a lot more money than the average person that fits your profile. So what is there to look me up and down for? I don't understand. Like, if anything, aren't I just a nobody? I literally just came to like help with the reception and stuff. What is the issue? And this is the thing also, like, okay, I don't want to get into race politics, but it's like one of the things that I fucking hate about my own race, because there's people like this in the Asian community, especially women, I'm so sorry to say, but they will treat another Asian girl with contempt, especially if she looks. But this is the thing, like, I don't know, maybe I need to give myself more credit. In my mind, I'm like, I just cannot fathom that her beef with me would be because of the way I look. Because I feel like in her mind, she should think that she's the superior option, right? Here, let me show you. Yeah, so this Miss Piggy. I'm so shady, but I'm like, why? Like, what is it about me that bothers you so much? I don't understand. I'm literally 10 years older than you. I'm not making as much money as you. I saw her Instagram posts, very, very flashy. She's always going to the Maldives and whatever. Like, how are you so miserable still, even with all that you have going for you? Wait, I'm trying to find, like, there's this other picture where she's making a face, which was much more true to reality of what I saw 90% of the time. But yeah, I'm just like going around in circles because I'm like, on the one hand, I'm not going to let I'm not the type of person to let like one sourpuss or one person that just has a problem with me for no reason. I'm not going to let them stop my bag or my social climbing strategy. But then at the same time, I'm like, okay, but do you necessarily have to partake in this particular strategy or this particular event? But the thing is, like, I feel as though if I cancel now, because I kind of told the event planning girl that I was going to do it, right? But the thing is, she contacted me last minute. She contacted me on Wednesday night, which leads me to believe that they had someone else planned originally for it, and then that person fell through or like couldn't make it. So then she reached out to me as like a second or third option. I think that's what happened, which I don't take personally, right? I mean, whatever. Yeah, so they contacted me last minute. In turn, I think I have the right to also tell them last minute that I actually don't feel like doing it. Because I initially told her like, sure, I am free this weekend. So then she like immediately added me to, you know, the group chat and sent over a contract and everything, which I didn't sign yet. So I'm going to give myself until 10 a.m. to reply to her, whether I sign or not. But you guys have to help me. Oh my God. Are you guys going to see this live in time? I feel like if I cancel on her, they're not going to call on me ever again. I actually am surprised that they even reached out to me this time, because I thought like for sure. Oh, I forgot one important point. So yeah, I thought for sure after the November gig that they would just not call me back, because even though the event planning company is not directly connected to Company D, I'm also technically, like, my position is also technically recruited on behalf of Company D, right? Like the work that I do, you know, taking down people's names and reporting the amount of attendees, etc. That I'm reporting that to Company D at the end of the day. I didn't respond to Miss Piggy when she messaged me after the second day was over in the November event, you know, because she's been like, she was shady and bitchy to me and acting like a mean girl the whole time, right? But then at the very last minute, after the event is already done, she messages me like, oh, hey, can you like send us the HD versions of the pictures and videos that you took? Because the ones that you sent were like fuzzy. So Company D, like my supervisor or the marketing supervisor or whatever, they're asking for HD pictures. And she's like very fake nice in text, right? A lot of Japanese girls are like this. But like at that point, I didn't answer her at all. I just left her on read. Actually, I didn't read her. I didn't even open her message. I just like left it because they didn't help me either when I asked for copies of their clients' business cards and stuff, because I was not able to, like, I wasn't able to properly record all of the clients' information because nobody was briefed or had an understanding of what my role was, and they also didn't care, right? So I wised up by the second day, and I kind of like, I was able to take control of the situation. I made my own sign-in sheet actually, which I thought I kept the physical copy of. Maybe I threw it away, but I took a picture of it, and I realized by the second day that if I just sat outside at the table and then acted as the reception person, then everyone would have to go through me before they could actually walk into the room, right? I didn't realize this the first day because I was completely going in cold. I was told by my person that they were going to give me an iPad and all this stuff to help me do my job, but nothing of the sort happened. Like, you know, most of them didn't even know that I was coming. So yeah, it's very disorganized. That's another aspect where I'm like, do you want to do this, Ren? Like, sure, it's easy money, but it's also, you have to deal with like the disorganized bullshit and, you know, people thinking that you're the problem when I'm literally not. Like, I was literally just dispatched here by a third party company. But anyway, so the second day, like, I was able to, you know, get my stuff together and make everyone sign the sign-in form. I got enough signatures and enough phone numbers to be able to present it to Company D at the end of the day, which actually they didn't even follow up with me after that. So I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't know what this role is for. In the beginning, I was low-key worried that it might be a scam because I was like, what if I show up and they like escort me off the premises because they think that I'm trying to infiltrate, or I literally just came here under false pretenses. But no, it was legit. You know, they sent me the actual money. I still don't know to this day, though, what is the actual purpose or goal of putting someone like me in that room. Because it's not like they technically did not need the help. I mean, near the end, there were more walk-ins, so it doesn't hurt. Like, it didn't hurt to have another staff member on hand to just help out with like rearranging the tables and getting the brochures ready and stuff. That was what I was doing. But like, they don't technically need another person. They could have just done that themselves or asked some of the hotel people to help them. But anyway, I can't find the picture of Miss Piggy's sour face. Yeah, I do not want to like ever see or interact or come in contact with this girl again. So yeah, she asked me to, like, she did her little, you know, fake nice, like fake urgent text message to me. She was like, oh, can you send me the HD? You know, you didn't send me the HD version of the pictures. And then I was like, bitch, I'm off the clock already, okay? It was like 11 p.m. at night by that point. I'm like, you didn't help me when I asked you. Because like I tried to like be nice and I tried to ask some questions because she's from company D, right? So I tried to confirm with her what exactly am I supposed to do or like what do they expect from me. And she was very, very dismissive, like very not interested in having any sort of conversation with me. And she was like, oh no, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not like in charge of that. So I was like, okay, fine. Okay, Miss Thing, like I will just ignore you as well the rest of the time. But I mean, I return energy where it's necessary. So if you're not going to help me, then I'm not going to help you. So I didn't even open her message and I never sent her the pictures, never contacted her again. I'm not afraid of like anything, you know, if I walk into the room and she happens to be there this time, and if she happens to confront me about the pictures from last time, which I don't think she'll do, right? Even if she did, I would just say that, well, I deleted them already off my phone because they were taking up memory space that I need. Yeah, like I don't think she would confront me or anything about it, but she definitely has me pegged as a total villain in her head, I think, at this point. And I just don't want to deal with it, you know? But then at the same time, I'm like, the other people from company A seem cool though. Like I kind of want to meet them, but then I kind of wonder, is there any point to that though? Because those people are also young. The girl I said, the one that I watched the TikTok of, she is like 27. And then I think the guy, the Dubai native, who is not Emirati, but he was born and raised in Dubai, he's only like 30, early 30s, 33. And I'm like, do you really need to meet these young people that badly?
You look so young.
In an industry that you don't plan to necessarily join yourself. You know what would be really diabolical is if I said no to this gig and then I just pulled up as a random passerby and like introduced myself that way. Well, no, I wouldn't want to. If I do a walk-in, I'd have to actually sit through a session where they try to like convince me to buy properties that I could not afford, even the cheapest option with my entire life savings. But wouldn't it be funny if I just pulled up as a random passerby and like made small talk with the agents from company A? If I just observe the premises beforehand, I could like look around and see if Miss Piggy is there. If she's not, I could just like strike up a conversation with the company A people and give them my business card. Just pretend that, you know, I don't have time to stay long, but I just wanted to say hi and that I go to Dubai a lot, etc. And then like that way I could get their contact information without having to go through this BS of like working inhumane working hours for 2 days straight on a weekend. What do I do? I'm not proud of this, by the way. I'm just being honest. I just wanted to show you, like I always do, in real time, considerations and the calculations that I go through, like every time I am trying to implement a new strategy. So I am well aware I'm not being perfect at all. This is a very imperfect, very messy process, but like I want to be transparent and honest with my audience, okay? Because I feel like there's too much fakeness out there on social media, and there's too many people that come online after the fact, you know, like after they've already gone through their trials and tribulations and their mistakes and they've made it big. Somehow they like to come on here and pretend they knew exactly what to do all along and that they just have this perfect success story that as long as you follow their steps A to Z in their course that they're selling for a really exorbitant price, like as long as you follow their methodology, you should be able to succeed too. And if you don't, that's your problem, right? There's so many people like that on social media right now, and it's predatory, it's icky, I don't like it, I refuse, okay? At worst, if there's something that I don't feel comfortable sharing with my audience, I'm just not going to share it. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to come on here when the chips are up for me, when things happen to work out for me, which is a combination of luck and many other things, okay? It's not just because I'm so amazing or I'm like the best strategist in the world when it comes to social climbing, but like I'm not going to come here when things are on the incline for me and just pretend like I'm this perfect, polished, finished product that always knew what I was doing from day one. Do I do that in job interviews? Absolutely. Because they always try to shade me and like put me on the spot with the question about, oh, but you have so many job changes. You have so many company changes in your career trajectory. What's that all about? Are you a flighty person? In those situations, I always completely come back with, yeah, that's exactly how I planned it. I had this idea to gain experience in a ton of different industries. And because of that, now I'm Superwoman in my field. There's very few candidates that can do all the things that I can do in the Japanese market. Boom. But not on YouTube, right? Not to my girlies that follow me for genuine advice and truth about the way that the world works. I'm trying to find this picture. I also I tried to look at Miss Piggy's Instagram account. I was like snooping around and trying to see if she posted anything. Cause I couldn't find evidence of her working with this company A in particular in the past. So I think it was just wishful thinking on my part. I was like, well, maybe there's in the off chance, like maybe it's not going to be her. Maybe there'll be another person, another Japanese girl from company D that's like a lot cooler and doesn't have weird energy. If it was a different person than Miss Piggy this time, that would be the jackpot for me, right? Because then that would be, maybe I'm just projecting, but hopefully it would be a way better experience than the first time. Because I don't want to write off like something that interests me just because other people decided to act shitty for the first experience, right? That's not on me. But then at the same time, it's like there's nothing wrong with protecting myself preemptively from a potentially, draining experience when I really don't have to. Like, I don't need the extra 40,000 yen. I could just sleep and do my makeup and live stream, do the things that I like this weekend, and that would also be equivalent to or more than 40,000 yen. It would be priceless, actually. But 40,000 yen would be nice, I could buy a new chair. I could buy more makeup. Honestly, that's probably the root of everything. I just want to buy more makeup, and I'm like annoyed that I have to cut back because of certain reasons this year. No, my light went out. It's like so grainy without the ring light. Okay, hold on. I could buy a new ring light, okay, instead of dealing with this one that is always cutting out on me. Or I could hit up Gingerbread Man again and ask him to send me money. Oh my god, this is like not... Hold on a second, guys. I mean, you understand where I'm coming from, right? Who wants to deal with this for another 2 days? 2 10-hour days stuck in a hotel room. I don't care if it's a luxury hotel. I think it's at the... Well, I probably shouldn't say until after the fact, but it's in Ginza. Really, really upscale, high-end hotel. There's gonna be fancy finger food and everything catered there. And like also the thing is, like, I don't have a problem with leaving at any time if I feel like, you know what, fuck this, right? Let's say Miss Piggy is there and I just already am done with her shit by lunchtime on the first day. Oh, I'll get up and leave on my lunch break. But the thing is, like, I won't get paid though for that time, obviously, if I leave halfway through the job. And I'll also be blacklisted from this particular events company, which is, it's whatever. I don't really care. Again, not trying to be in this industry anyway, so I don't know why I'm like stressing so much over this decision. But my light, is this a sign for me to stop talking? Is my ring light trying to send me a message like, girl, just get a grip? I do need a new ring light. I need a bigger one, first of all, like a stronger one, because this one doesn't even light enough of the frame. Oh my god, I think this might have literally just went out. I guess we'll just sit in the dark for the rest of the video. See, because usually the on-off button is blue. There's like a blue light underneath, but if it's not lighted up, that means it's not connected somehow. I think the cord is getting frayed or something. But anyway, what would you do if you were me? The building or the hotel, I don't think it's a hotel this time, actually. I think it's just like a very upscale venue. But the building that it's in has these two like intertwining snake sculptures on the outside. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, maybe that's a sign that I'll be protected by the serpentine spirit, because I'm a snake. And the fact that there's like two snakes, it's on the actual building. It's like part of the design of the building. It's super cool. If you've been there or if you search it online, I'm sure you'll know which building I'm talking about. But wow, this light really died on me. Okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can use my cell phone. That's better than nothing. What should I do? I don't know, guys. Help me out. It's like 5 a.m. already, so I have 5 hours to make a decision. I shouldn't have said yes on Wednesday. I should have waited. But like, I don't know. I think I was just so surprised that they contacted me again, because I was like, oh, okay, so they didn't have, a bad review about me or anything. And the fact that it's a different company this time, a different Japanese firm that was throwing the event, I was like, okay, I'm open to this. But then I saw it was like, that firm, company A, collaborating with company D. So I was like, fuck, is gonna be that annoying ass Miss Piggy girl again. I'm not in the mood, like if it bothers me this much, I feel like I don't need to necessarily prove that I'm unbothered. I can just choose the unbothered version of my reality. I can just choose the unbothered option, which is to stay at home and have a grand old time with Maxine and doing my own stuff, on YouTube. But then at the same time, I'm like, girl, you have not been out anywhere this month. It's March 20th, okay? There's only 10 more years left in this month. And I've been averaging like one outing per month. January and February have been with just coworkers. Yeah, there was I went to dinner once with like a group of 4 in January, and then I went out to 2 lunches essentially in February. Or no, I went to a lunch in February and then one in March, and then like another casual one just spontaneously with my immediate team because we all happened to be at the office that day. And that's been the extent of my social interaction this year. And I'm not even gonna lie, I low-key am still like, I'm not moved to become a social butterfly again. I feel like that era is over. I'm over it, mentally speaking. I only want to participate in things that benefit me from now on, which is why I think I didn't really think about it when the event planner girl contacted me. She seemed kind of like panicked because they probably had someone who dropped out last minute, and so now she had to call her back up, which was me. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'm free. Without thinking of it much, all I was thinking in my head was, oh, sweet, 40,000 yen. That means Anita Ward's Ring My Bell has been working, because I've been listening to that song every day too. I have to say, it's been working. I've gotten lots of gig opportunities ever since putting that song on every day. But like, is the money coming in the way that I want it to though? Because I prefer that it just lands in my account with minimal or no action from me. If I participate in this event, I actually have to work for 2 days, okay, on top of my regular 5 days a week, Monday through Friday working schedule. And like, do I need to do that? Do I need to prove that to anyone or myself? No, I just want 40,000 yen. So I'm just like, I'll tell you what, if I can come up with 40,000 yen or more, if I can come out with an extra 10,000 yen by 10 a.m. this morning, somehow by the grace of God or the manifestation powers of the universe, then I will cancel. And probably that will get me blacklisted from all future events, which I'll be okay with because whatever. It's not like I'm trying to enter the real estate business. And even if I try to think of it from the angle of, okay, but participating in this event would again place me in proximity of all the high net worth clients that are gonna be there. And then what though? That's the thing. They're nice people, like high net worth individuals. As I discussed in my last live, they all have kind of a very particular vibe, right? Like very low key, but you can tell their clothes are immaculately pressed. If it's expensive, it's like quiet luxury brands, Loro Piano, etc. Nothing tacky, no large logos. And they have this like quiet ease with which they move around, like very, very refined mannerisms, right? Which that in itself was a good learning experience for me last time. So despite the unfortunate attitudes of the other agents and people that were there, I still feel like I got a lot out of it, right? And actually, so the manager of the banquet hall room, the guy that takes care of all of the inbound requests to rent out the conference rooms in that particular hotel that we used last time, he was a permanent employee of that hotel, right? So I actually really got along with him. By the second day, we were really comfortable with talking to each other. So that also made the second day go by a lot quicker. And like at the end of the day, he gave me his business card. So I have, I have a business card for Four Seasons Tokyo. If anyone wants to throw an event there or a party sometime soon, I can connect you directly to the banquet hall manager. But yeah, like, I don't know. I just hate how if Miss Piggy wasn't there, as arrogant as some of the other real estate agents were, they weren't like that bad towards me because we didn't interact that much. It was just, I stayed out of their hair and I just did my part and then left. But oh my God, like it was such icky energy to me, the way that this girl was treating me, just so unprompted. And yeah, as I was saying before, like I'm not trying to racialize it, but I guarantee you if I was white or even black, like any ethnicity that is not East Asian, I guarantee you that she would not have had the nerve to look down on me. She would literally like look me up and down. I'm like, okay, the cognitive dissonance is really messing with me right now, because you would think that it would be me looking her up and down, right? Because I'm like 10 years older than you. What do you have to look me up and down for? Why am I that threatening to you? But anyway, she lives in Dubai, right? So that means like she's pretty proficient in English, and like the way that she interacts with people in English, I just know that it's like a 180 difference from how she interacts in Japanese. So that could be like another tactic that I use, because I was thinking if I go this time and she happens to be there, I'm just gonna like respond in English, because like that was my thing. Okay, I should have done that from the get-go at the first event, because the first impression is the most important, right? So because I started off speaking Japanese, I think they defaulted into their tendency to like, I'm just gonna say, I don't like the way that Japanese people treat service workers. It's embedded into their culture, this idea that the customer is God. So not everyone, like a lot of people are very nice and civil to service workers, but there's a certain class of people, which arrogant real estate agents, you can imagine, fall into that class, that really just think that because you're a service worker, which like technically I was a service worker in my role at that particular gig, yeah, they think they can just like talk to you any kind of way. And it's also combined with the fact that I have an East Asian face, right? If I was like very obviously not Asian, I'm sure she would not have the balls to treat me the way that she did, which tells me that you're not shit as a person, right? Because I don't do that to people. I do not treat people differently based on how they look or what their age is or whatever. If anything, I judge the people that put on the most artifice when it comes to their presentation. Like the people that are overly charismatic and overly smooth in their interactions, I'm not like judging them, but I know that's a tactic, right? I know that that's something to be wary of. It's not just something that, like, yeah, of course they develop charisma to impress people and to be able to get things done their way. But a lot of those people, you have to be careful because it's like, if they're charismatic, like most people cave in the face of charisma. And just if you sound assured in whatever you're saying, it's like, you know, the saying, some people can sell water to a fish, right? People like that, I'm not easily taken in by. Like, I know what their game is. And as long as they're nice to me, as long as they're civil to me, I'll be civil back, right? But I return energy 100%. So if you're going to try to treat me in any type of way, I'm not going to sink to your level. Like, I'm not going to make myself look bad and crash out on you in public or anything. But like, I'm definitely not going to help you out behind the scenes, like, especially after the event is over. And like, you never helped me the entire time. You always regarded me with contempt. And now you're asking me for the HD quality version of the pictures and videos that I took diligently as part of my job description, right? That you never expressed thanks or anything for during the duration of the actual event. Then fuck no, I'm not going to send you any extra files. You can go figure that shit out by yourself.
Should have sent a thank you note, your little home.
Or reflect on how you were acting. And it's your choice, but it would be in your best interest if you were smart to realize that, hey, maybe I should treat people better from the onset in the beginning. You never know when you're going to need someone's help for something in the future. And also just like, don't be a shitty human, right? Even if the person cannot benefit from you, what gain do you get out of treating someone badly? So anyway, I couldn't find any information on her social media indicating that she worked with this particular company A before. I wasn't looking at her stories or anything, but I was trying to look at like her reels to see if she was promoting this particular event. Because if she promotes it on her Instagram, that means that she's coming, right? But I didn't see any. So I was like, okay, maybe it's not her. Maybe it's a different employee from company D. But then at that point, I was also pissed because I was like, I was not planning to look up this girl's whereabouts that much. Like, I don't want to have this girl's name in my search history that much. And then before you know it, Facebook or Meta is recommending her as a connection to me. Like, no. I don't like this at all. So I'm like, maybe I should just not go, you know? If it's bothering me this much to the point where I'm like looking up irrelevant people online to try and see if they're going to an event, maybe that's a sign that I need to just tap out and sit this one out. But if it's not me, some other person that's less qualified is going to take my place, though. Like, I admit it, okay? I'm a little bit possessive when it comes to Dubai-related things, especially in Japan, because, like, there's still not that much awareness of Dubai. I mean, like, also, okay, the interesting thing is I wonder how this event is going to pan out in light of recent events, because they're still actively getting targeted, kind of sort of high key by Iran. I don't know what the missile situation necessarily is, but they're still in the immediate crossfires of this tension between Iran and Israel and the US, right? So how do they plan to spin this recent turn of world events to their potential clients? Are there even going to be people that are interested in this in a serious way? Because it just seems like the worst timing ever to be in this particular niche industry, don't you think? So I'm very fascinated, like just out of pure curiosity, to be honest. I do kind of want to go and see what the turnout is. If there's a big turnout, I can't imagine it's because everyone in Japan all of a sudden wants to invest in Dubai. I would think that it would be more out of morbid curiosity than anything, but like, yeah, I'm nosy and I don't want to give up my spot. But like, what spot though? To be the backup helper person at a real estate conference for a little 40,000 yen every time. I can do better than that, right? I can do anything, but it's just a matter of where I choose to put my attention and my efforts, you know? And like, no, there's no such thing as totally smooth sailing in any strategy that I choose to implement. I know that, but again, I'm reminded, like every time I step out of my bubble of my full-time job, like my home company, I'm always kind of jarred by the rude awakening that I get, or the rude reminder that, oh, wow, these people in other industries like real estate or I don't know, energy. They're just like not the same breed as the people in my company. I mean, I like to think it's because partially it's definitely because we're in the luxury fashion industry. So that explains why everyone, like especially the women, puts a lot of effort into their appearance, and like everyone is very fashionable. And you know, like I'm basically living The Devil Wears Prada in real time. It's a dream scenario. Yeah, like since I spend most of my time, or since my main job is this, I think over time, because I've been here like 7 months, but I've been working in luxury retail sector since last year. So it's been like, yeah, over a year at this point that I've been engulfed in this world. And to me, it just felt like, okay, finally I found my people. Because like there's a lot of female employees as well where I work. It's very, very conducive to, like it's a very, very female supporting work environment. That also makes it like easier for all of us to kind of let our guard down and just be girls in a sense. I feel free to express my fashion and wear my makeup and do all the things at this company. Like when I, you know, the 1 day a week or the 2 days a month that I go into the office, like I feel like I'm excited to go and to show off, you know, my outfit and stuff. And I don't have to worry about people feeling threatened by it because everyone there is always making sure that they're dressed to the nines and looking the best. You know, like I'm sorry, if you put any employee from my company next to the female employee of a regular company in like a less glamorous industry, let's say, you could tell immediately on site. Nobody would even have to explain to you who is working for where or what industry. You would know immediately upon first glance that, oh, this is the girl that works in, you know, the luxury fashion world, and this is the one that works in like a regular IT consulting firm, which again, like there's nothing wrong. I'm not trying to put down any category of woman. I'm just saying this is the standard that I'm used to now, and I feel at home amongst my people in the luxury fashion world. And like every time I try to foray out of it a little bit, whether it's just to expand my horizons socially or whether it's to earn a little bit extra money or a combination of both, I'm just like very rudely reminded of how weird people in the rest of all the other industries can be. The only other like really positive experience I had, I will say, is the Chinese real estate company that I did that 1 day social media thing for through my beauty pageant organization. But I feel like they're not going to call me back. Oh, well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe they'll call me back in the future, but I feel like vibes wise, they were okay. Like they were very chill. Chinese people are very, very easygoing and all of that. So it was no problem. Like I felt very comfortable working with them, but I'm not sure exactly that we were on the same page in terms of the tone of the content. And they also didn't give me that much prep material beforehand. So that was a little bit stressful on my end. Although again, there wasn't any like tension with the people that I worked with. But yeah, I just don't know if it was like exactly what they were hoping for in terms of the content vibe. So I don't know. We'll see in the future. I think, yeah, they were cool. And that one was also 20,000 yen a day. But even then, I just felt like, okay, I could never be around these people as like my main job, or like I would never be these people's friends or acquaintances under natural organized circumstances. Cause like I remember this one moment stood out to me. It's going to sound really small and petty, but I'm not trying to be petty. I'm just like explaining what I noticed. When we went on lunch break, the girl that was with me that worked for the pageant organization, we were both like finishing up the shooting at a certain condo, and then the other members like went ahead to find a lunch spot and order everything because they were like, yeah, just come to the restaurant when you guys are done, and then we will already have everything ordered so that we don't have to wait, you know, for the food to get out. So then it was actually a really, really bad restaurant. Honestly, it was probably the worst food I've ever tasted in my life. I'm trying to remember, what was the name of the restaurant? Pizza Gyutan or something. You know, gyutan? It's cow's tongue, which is one of the only things that I refuse to eat in yakiniku cuisine. I don't like tongue. I don't like the texture. Obviously, they wouldn't have known that beforehand, so like I'm not holding that part against them. But yeah, I was kind of like, maybe in their eyes, I was being a diva because like I refused to eat anything basically that they had ordered because it all had tongue on it. Plus, it was just categorically bad. It was like a fast food restaurant, but like really bad quality. Anyway, so I was like, oh, sorry, I can't eat tongue or shrimp or anything. So then they were like, oh, let's order something else for you. So there was only like 3 items on the menu that did not include tongue, but it was fine. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Let me just get the steak, and I don't remember what else I ordered. Oh, I think I got I got a margarita pizza. I mean, they were really nice about it. They didn't like give me any dirty looks or anything, but they were just like, oh no, sorry, you know, like this is bad luck. We should have asked you beforehand if you're okay with tongue. And I was like, no, it's fine. I'll just order a margarita. But then the manager lady, and again, she wasn't saying this with any sort of attitude. But she was like, okay, yeah, everyone just make sure like we have to eat everything, okay? Make sure that you eat everything. You can order a lot, you can order more, but make sure that you clean the plates, which actually is such a Chinese thing to say. Like, I feel like a lot of people, if you are Chinese or come from a similar background, you've heard your parents or your relatives, especially like your grandparents, say at some point that you have to finish everything on your plate before you leave the dinner table, right? Which I think is such a toxic way of teaching children how to relate to food. Although I understand it for like a certain generation, because, you know, like my grandparents' food and other rations were hard to come by. So like I totally understand the thought process behind it. And it's also out of love too, because they feel a lot of, you know, Chinese parents and families associate overstuffing you with food with love. So it's not from a malicious place. But the moment she said that, I was just so turned off immediately. I was like, because when I go out to eat, or even, you know, when I eat at home, like when I buy things from the kombini or I get my girl dinner, that is the last thing that I worry about. I never worry about wasting food, okay? Not that I'm out here actively trying to increase the total amount of food waste in the world, but if there's something that I don't like to eat or a part of a meal that I don't like, for example, if I order, this is just an example, I'm not doing this every time, but if I order a hamburger and I want to cut down on carbs for that particular day, I will just straight up throw out one half of the bun, right? And feel no way about it. And I don't care. To me, it's worth it to eat, like whatever I paid for the food, I'm going to eat it exactly in the way that I want to, even if that includes throwing out a certain portion of it. And like, I don't think of it in a way that, like, because I threw away part of the carbs, that means that I'm wasting money. I just customize everything, including food, to where it feels most comfortable to me. Because, like, to me, the bigger cost is if I eat that extra hamburger bun and, like, now I'm bloated and upset that I need to burn off these extra calories, right? When I could have just, like, thrown it away in the first place. But that would have afforded me the comfort and, like, the saved energy that it would require me to burn off the bun. I don't know if this is making sense, but that's my thought process. It's my opinion, but it's the correct one. And that's why everyone asks me how to lose weight and how to stay slim in your 30s, because you can see without even me having to explain anything to you that I have the results that people are looking for. That's why they come to me for the advice. Okay, so if you don't want my advice, or if you want to stay where you are, then don't ask me how I manage my food intake. I do eat a lot. Like, I could stand to honestly eat better and more healthy, but my point is that, like, I just don't think of food or anything inanimate in that type of way. Like, I'm wasting it if I don't use it all. No, that's, again, that ties back to the whole theme of this live. I believe that there's no limit in how you pamper yourself. Okay. So for example, if you are trying to lose weight or be mindful of what you eat, like if there's a part of the meal that you can skip out on, let's say you get a salad and maybe there's a few tomatoes in there, but you don't like tomatoes, then you should be at a place where you can just take the tomatoes out without any hesitation, without any feeling of guilt, because that's useless to feel guilt over not eating a couple slices of tomato or a couple of chunks of tomato that were in your salad. Okay, you know, maybe next time you'll do better, right? Maybe next time you'll put in a more specific order where you ask them to take out the tomatoes. But this time, okay, you forgot to say it, or they just put it in there. That doesn't mean you have to eat it, right? Like, that doesn't mean you have to feel bad about throwing it away. No, you're honoring your own preferences and your own boundaries. That alone is priceless. You can't put a dollar amount on that. So I don't like it when people, like, I don't like the mentality of people that think that if you don't eat the entire plate of food, you're wasting money. I remember there was another coworker at one of my way older jobs. This was like 10 years ago. I remember it was like the holiday season, and I think the company, for one day, they had like these gourmet bento boxes delivered to the company for everyone that was there. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, I'm like mixing up my memories. I think we just all went out to dinner, kind of like a bonenkai, end of the year party. And it was at a really, really good restaurant. The food was really delicious. And so I remember, like, we went, and then I think we came back to the office because it was a night event party, right? Like after work. And then one of my female coworkers was like, oh yeah, that was like so good, you know, that kind of a meal. It was like a 5-course meal. She's like, yeah, that kind of food you don't get to taste every day. Like, I savored every bit of it, but you know what? You can't eat that every day, right? Or else it won't be special. Like, that kind of a meal, you could only eat that on special occasions. And I was like, bitch, Speak for yourself, okay? For one, I am available to eat gourmet 5-star meals every single day of my life if I was ever blessed to be in circumstances that allowed so. Okay, so we're talking either financially or whether I am dating a guy who can afford to take me to nice restaurants several days out of the week. Like, speak for yourself. But she wasn't saying it from the standpoint of whether she could afford it or not. She was literally saying that, oh, you can't eat really good food like that every single day or else it's gonna lose its meaning, something like that. She was like, yeah, you have to stay with plain, boring food most days out of the week. Maybe only once a month you should be able to have a treat like that. And I was like, no, where did you get that logic? Like, who brainwashed you? I know who brainwashed her. Japan and society at large. But yeah, speak for yourself. Okay, I am available to eat gourmet food every single day of my life. In fact, I have eaten so well to the point where I reached that satisfaction limit that I was talking about before. Like, there have been many times in my life actually where I have treated myself so well to the exact kind of food that I wanted, just all the flavors, any exquisite flavor that I was craving in the moment, I would get it for myself immediately, to the point where I reached that plateau of like, okay, this is nice, but it's reached a plateau in terms of the returns that I'm getting from it, right? Like, I reached a point where I was actually like, meh, okay, I could eat this extra slice of gourmet cake, or I could just, have a regular drink from the kombini. That was the point where I felt like, okay, actually I could do with or without. I'm so satiated to the point where now I would be happy with just like a kombini chocolate snack or a kombini cookie, and like it would taste the same. I don't know if I'm explaining this well, but it's the same thing with anything like luxury items. If you get to the point where, let's say, you become so financially successful that now you can shop at Hermes and Chanel and all these luxury brands, and you're able to, all those purses that you jeweled over in the past, right? You could only dream of owning. Now you can buy 1, 2, 3 at a time on a random Tuesday, like they're lollipops. Once you reach that point, that satiation point, there will be inevitably a point to where you'll switch from like aspiring to own those things to a state of mind where you're like, okay, I can take it or leave it. Yeah, it's nice to have. Could I buy the same Kelly bag in another 3 colors? Yeah, sure. Why not? Or I could just get this random no-brand purse from a thrift shop or from a no-name brand that I just happen to think the design is cute, and maybe that one is only $50, but I like it because it's cute, and so I'm gonna wear that instead of my Kelly or my Birkin today, because why not? Like, it does. You're gonna reach that point where I advocate for women to do experiments on themselves to find out where that point is in any particular category in their lives, if that makes sense. It's a very healing thing, and we all owe it to ourselves, and we all deserve it as the divine feminine embodied. Spoil yourself and pamper yourself to the point where you feel like, okay, now I can take it or leave it. Now I've had my fill and I don't even need this anymore for however long. But then maybe after going without it for a while, you'll start to crave it again at some point, right? And like, just, yeah, there's no limit to how much you can enjoy yourself and pour into yourself in this life. And with that being said, I'm still no closer to an answer for my predicament on whether I should join this real estate event or not in 2 days. I'm beyond burned out at this point. I think that's another reason why I feel like for my mental health, I really should say no to this real estate event this weekend, because an extra 40,000 yen that I don't necessarily need, it's just a want, is not worth participating in something that could make my mental health deteriorate even more. Not even like, okay, even in the best case scenario, if Miss Piggy is not there and everyone is actually friendly and acts like a normal human being this time, even then, like, that's still very emotionally, not emotionally, but it's still like a very mentally and physically taxing job. I have to like be there and stand or sit and like be on to basically deal with all the customers for the entire day, 2 days in a row. And then right after that, it's going to be Monday again. So I'm going to have to do my regular job again. Like, maybe I should just say no. Give me a sign. I just need some money to fall into my bank account out of the blue. That would be ideally the sign that I would accept as, okay, this definitely means that you should say no. Go ahead and let down the event planning company and tell them that you can't make it this weekend, and continue my hermit streak for 2026. Because what am I going to gain by adding a few 20-something-year-olds or like a 33-year-old to my Rolodex? What can they do for me, really? I'm sure they're lovely people, and I'm sure that they're making a killing for themselves through their real estate business. But if it doesn't trickle down back to me, then what's the whole point of this entire thing?